Greetings in Christ. This is your 3-minute Psalm devotion for Tuesday, May 26. We're looking this morning at Psalm 35. And I have my headphones on because I want to try it. I can actually hear myself on what I sound like. And plus, Pastor Brian Wolfmueller, sometimes he has his headphones on. And he's a Lutheran rock star. And I'd encourage you to check out him on the web and his videos. He's sharp and he's much cooler than me. All right, so Psalm 35 is a psalm of prayer. It's a psalm of lamentation. It's spoken of originally by David, as are most of the psalms again. And, we're not given the exact setting of it, but he has been treated most horribly and most shamefully by those whom he had treated well. Of course, we can consider Christ as the ultimate righteous sufferer who treated all people well, who preached the good news, who healed the sick, and what did he get for it? He was crucified, right? And so this psalm encourages us to pray to God, to cry out to him for deliverance, for salvation when we are treated badly. And it teaches us to guard ourselves from bitterness, which is a horrible, horrible thing. This is one of the devil's great works, is to drive those who recognize they've been treated badly, but instead of crying out to God for salvation and for vengeance, they let it eat themselves up inside. And that's a soul killer, bitterness. It will drive faith away from your heart quicker than the high desert wind drives the dust, okay? I'm going to read selected verses here, Psalm 35, starting at verse 1. Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler and rise for my help. Draw the spear and javelin against my pursuers. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. Skipping to verse 6. Let their way be dark and slippery, with the angel of the Lord pursuing them. For without cause they hid their net for me. Without cause they dug a pit for my life. Let destruction come upon him when he does not know it, and let the net that he hid ensnare him. Let him fall into it to his destruction. All right, we're going to stop there. I can't help but think in verse 8 there of the biblical book of Esther, and Mordecai was being shamefully treated by now I'm forgetting. It starts with an H. The bad Persian guy, and he set up these gallows to kill Mordecai, and he ended up getting hanged on the gallows. Right. All right. So what is a buckler? Because in this psalm we ask God to be a buckler. That's a fancy shield. Notice in this psalm too that there's no reason to take up vengeance on our own behalf. Okay, this is unlike the Muslim faith, which when it's treated badly, it takes up the sword themselves. And this comes up in verse 12 and 13, where look, David said, when my enemies were sick, I put on sackcloth, but when I'm sick, they mistreat me. And so there's no vengeance. The Christian is not to do any vengeance on his own. He's to leave it in God's hands. And there's some pretty serious requests for vengeance in this psalm. David asked for the angel of the Lord to pursue them, but we leave that in God's hands. Your heart and conscience needs to be clean, and that means praying to God, giving these burdens to him, and let him handling it. All right, very good. Good psalm to pray when you've been mistreated and wronged, and this psalm teaches us to leave it in God's hands and entrust in Christ, who was the great ultimate righteous sufferer. Have a blessed day in the Lord.